After dropping Lynn back at school, Frazer returned home early to cook for Natalia. She arrived home just as he was putting the meal on the table. "Sit down and eat before it goes cold," he said as she walked in. Natalia didn't need telling twice. Her stomach was growling. She had been tired and hungry all afternoon. The food smelled divine as she sat at the table and wasted no time diving in. Frazer sat and watched her eat. After several mouthfuls, she realized that he hadn't touched his food. She put down her fork and looked at him, her expression unreadable. "Other than cooking, what else can you do well?" she asked him. "You can't go through life with only one skill, you know." Frazer didn't answer her. He picked up a dish of vegetables and piled some more onto her plate. "Why won't you answer me?" she asked him, her tiredness making her grumpier than she otherwise would have been. "I can't believe that you have no aspirations in life other than to serve home-cooked food." Frazer knew that whatever he said at that moment would make her feel worse, so he kept quiet. "Fine," she said sulkily. "If you want to prolong this argument, suit yourself. But at least I tried to make it up to you." He took the necklace out of his pocket and gently handed it to her. "Oh, that is so beautiful," she said, instantly forgetting her tiredness. Natalia went to touch it but withdrew her hand quickly. "What did you buy this for?" He gently put the necklace in her hand before he sat down beside her. "I bought it as a thank you for being with me for 3 years," he said. "I know you're not always happy with me, but I want to make you the happiest girl in the world." She looked at him and wiped a tear from the corner of her eye. Deep down, she knew he was right. They didn't have a house or a car, and it saddened her. Even though she had just landed herself a good job, she only had it for the past few days. She looked at the necklace again and took a deep breath, preparing herself to say what she felt to be necessary. "There's more to life than a necklace, you know," she said. "If you want to make me happy, get yourself a good job. Why don't you ask your friend for a better one? You don't have to spend your life being a security guard." She put the necklace down on the table. For the past 3 years, she had envied women wearing extravagant necklaces. But after marrying a good-for-nothing like Frazer, she had stopped dreaming about such things. The arrival of Sheila saved Frazer from defending himself. "Something smells good," she said as she walked in. "Your husband may not have many good points, but at least he can cook," she added, talking about him as if he wasn't in the room. She sat down and picked up a fork, but she noticed the necklace on the table before she could eat. "Where'd this come from?" Sheila asked, picking it up and examining it. Natalia rolled her eyes. "It's just a necklace. How can you get so excited about it?" She always felt that Sheila overreacted when it came to jewelry. "But you always liked necklaces," she replied. "This is the heart of the seas. Do you know how much this is worth?" She turned it over in her hands. "Who gave it to you? It must have been some wealthy tycoon who's taken a fancy to you. Can you introduce me to him?" she added as she held it to her chest and started daydreaming. "What do you know about it?" asked Natalia. She knew that it was no ordinary necklace, but it was obvious that Sheila was more knowledgeable in such matters. However, being a gift from Frazer, she was convinced that it wasn't too valuable. "My dear, have you seen the film about the shipwreck?" asked Sheila, looking at her as if she was a fool. She returned the necklace and dug out her phone, putting the necklace's name into her search engine to give Natalia more information about it. Natalia looked at it more closely while Sheila was busy. It was indeed a beautiful piece of jewelry. they working you too hard? He had already warned Brett that he didn't need to give Natalia too much to do. Natalia didn't answer. She carried on eating ravenously, determined that no one was going to help her with her work. "What's with all the questions?" asked Sheila, quick to defend her friend. "Are you her boss all of a sudden?" She looked at Natalia. "He's right, though," she added. "If something's worrying you, tell me. Perhaps I can help." "It's work," said Natalia. "My client wants to start a joint venture, but as soon as they heard that I was new, he postponed it," she added, avoiding Sheila's gaze. She hadn't mentioned the excessive demands of her new boss, simply summarizing her worries instead. Sheila's eyes lit up. "I know," she said excitedly. "Ask Brett for help. He was the one who asked you to run the company." "No," said Natalia. "If I ask him for help every 5 minutes, then what's the use of him hiring me? Think of this as a form of training for me. I've got to learn to take charge of myself." "Whatever," said Sheila, not convinced by her answer. "Natalia, you already know how to be strong. Only people who can cook well aren't strong." With that, she shot Frazer a look of disdain. His wife was struggling at work, and all he could do to help was cook her a nice meal. He hadn't even offered her any sympathy or advice at all. He just sat and ate. "Loser," she thought maliciously. "I've had enough," said Natalia, pushing her plate away.
To watch the full episode, install the Pocket FM app